Those of you who watched the BBC Breakfast show this morning will have seen the senior fire officer urging parents to have care with the approaching Halloween season about dressing up their children in cheap clothes which catch fire. Obviously, this follows on from the disaster that almost overtook Claudia Wilkeman's daughter this time last year, and the broadcast was put over by a senior fire officer, demonstrating really the work that they all do as firefighters in protecting ourselves and our children and our grandchildren from the risk of range of fire. Over the summer, many of us were aware that we face 40% cuts, 25% up to 40% cuts in all our services. Now I think, hopefully, it's now striking home to people just what a 40% cut means. I'll just talk about Hinckley, if I may. In Hinckley, 40% cuts means a 40% reduction in our fire appliances. Just a few years ago, we had 3 appliances at Hinckley. Now, under these proposals, we'll be left with 1. There were 28 members of staff employed at Hinckley. Under these proposals, that will come down to 13. Now, I've done some research of my own on this alongside colleagues, and they informed me that for any major incident, 2 appliances are required. For a major fire incident, 2 appliances are required. And of course, at Hinckley, we had 2 appliances. Now, the problem is that if you reduce that to 1, which is what's being proposed here this morning, or under these proposals, one fire appliance could get to a fire quite easily, but as I hope we now realise that within 5 minutes a fire can take hold of a property and it's too late. The backup engine, there will be no backup engine there. The backup engine will have to come out from Leicester or elsewhere. And the quickest you can get to Hinckley from here is 18 minutes. So it could well be too late. Now, I know there's lots of talk about the dangers of the high-rise situation in Leicester, where 5 appliances are required. And you can just see, does the mathematics really work out? What happens if there are 2 major incidents at the same time? The firefighters say it won't work. The management of the fire authority says it will work, but there must be some doubt. And I think where there is doubt, we need clarity. And just returning to Hinckley for a minute, if I may, Chairman, it's being said there that, of course, when needed, we can have backup from Warwickshire. But, of course, Warwickshire also faces 40% cuts in its fire authority, and nobody knows what appliances are going to be left across the border to back up. And if I can just finish up, Chairman, if I may, a retired fire officer from Hinckley has written to his MP and has sent us a copy of his letter. He served for 28 years and ended up in senior management. And he says this, and it's just 2 sentences, if I may, Chairman. The proposals before the public will have a devastating effect at a time when the population of the city, county and Rutland is growing, when traffic volume and movements are increasing, when economic growth is on the cusp of improvement and will bring with it more business and industry. The proposals for the one service that saves, protects and preserves will result in the public being put at greater risk of death, injury and personal economic disaster, which can only lead to a greater burden on the public purse. In short, the proposals are lacking imagination and are reckless. They perhaps meet short-term fiscal diktat and dogma, but fail to recognise the long-term damage they bring about. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bill. Mr. Sharp.